it's almost past my bedtime. I probably need that expensive pillow that I showed on the screen, but over to Dan.
Alright, I'll keep it short. I'm standing between you and the door price. So, this is was originally meant to be just about AI and ML, but I've gone a bit deeper in augmented reality because it's fun. I've got some demos as well. I'm just brave as Tom earlier. That was amazing. I've never done that. So what I like to do in these conferences is actually try out some of the things that they announce. I like to kind of download them and test them. What I don't like is when they announce things and they're not actually released yet. So what I've got here is things that you can actually try now. You can go home and try it, and I've tried as well. So MLKit was great. When I first saw that they announced MLKit, I'm like, oh, good, coming in where? And I was pretty excited to see I could log into Firebase during while I was talking about it and seeing these things up and running straight away. So MLKit, it's a pretty cheeky name. It sounds like an iOS library with kit on the end there. It's interesting that it's from Firebase because it's not just Firebase is, I guess, a convenient backend for mobile, but what they've provided in the SDKs is actually on-device machine learning models for you to try. So each of these ones here, text recognition, face detection, barcode, and all of the standard image recognition type of things. You can do these in the cloud, but what's really good about mobile is being able to try them on the device itself. So let's go crazy and do that. Let's see if I can find my pointer. Here we go. Coming this way, or is it this way? There it is. Right, this is my device here. So the MLKit demos you can grab from. It's not good, is it? Hang on. That's a microphone. That's not. Right. So this is the MLKit demo. You can set this up in Firebase. I believe you have to be on the Blaze plan, so page you go, so you need to enable billing. Right. I did try this earlier, and it was much happier with me, obviously. But it wasn't picking up people in the crowd, but this is actually not too bad. So this is all operating on the device itself as part of the SDK. You can do text detection. You don't have any text out there. So here's some text here. So this is all operating on the device. I don't have any barcodes. Let's have a look at this. This is the standard. Some G's in there. Some music. It's very excited about musical instruments. And classification as well. So one of those was actually a custom model, and I'll go back to what that means. The musical instrument's still in there, it's loving it. So that's actually pretty exciting because that's zero amount of code. That's no neural network craziness that you need to understand. It's all about API integration and actually using those models yourself. They do more than that, so that was all on the device. There's another mode in there which I won't get into, which is actually uploading those images to the cloud, so you can actually get more information. So the cloud option is about using bigger models. The models we're using there are kind of mobile constrained models, so they're less accurate, they've maybe got less options that it can choose from to classify your images. So it's really nice to have both of those there. You can actually, you can see the little icons here. It says landmark recognition is only available in the cloud, and the others are available on mostly on the device. Some can fall back to the cloud as well. What I found interesting about the Firebase interface here was that it's got a little filter to allow you to filter between what's available on the cloud and what's available on the device. I get the sense that this is not the finished amount of things. They're going to roll out a bunch more of these as well, so there's going to be a whole lot of these. Every time you hear of a model being released in TensorFlow, give it 6 months, and hopefully we'll set them in Firebase as well. It's going to be really good. Cool, TensorFlow. So, a lot of these things that I saw on TensorFlow here were actually announced at the TensorFlow Dev Summit. So, what's new in AI and ML? These TensorFlow things aren't, but certainly they went into some more depth. A lot of the TensorFlow Dev Summit talks were only about 15, 20 minutes. So there was a 20-minute talk on Swift to TensorFlow at the Dev Summit, and we really then needed an hour. Same with JavaScript and TensorFlow Lite. What I liked at the Google I/O is they actually spent that full kind of 40, 45 minutes on things like TensorFlow Lite. Let me explain a little bit about this. So TensorFlow for JavaScript, pretty obvious. Being able to do machine learning models in the browser, and what that gives us with JavaScript is not just server-side node-based JavaScript models, but actually in the browser. So that's actually spawned a bunch of really powerful demonstrations, being able to show someone, oh, here's a really interesting AI use case, all running in the browser. TensorFlow Lite is going to be really powerful for mobile developers, being able to take a model and crunch it down and still make it performant on mobile and mobile devices, and still make it accurate as well. TensorFlow Hub is like a GitHub in some ways for models, so being able to publish a model, allow people to share it, and then to bring it into their environment and actually extend it as well. So it's a really kind of a first step into making models composable, this model, and adding inline fees there as well. One of the exciting things coming out of TensorFlow Lite is on-device training. Now, initially that seems weird. What I showed you before was just being able to infer or predict what's happening in the model, but training a model, you think usually is something that happens on a server, on a big server, with lots and lots of data. But the use case is actually quite interesting. If a user wants to start to build up their own model and take their own images and do their own classification, you can actually build up a very personal machine learning model without actually having to send your data to the server. So it's got some really good performance implications and privacy implications as well. And of course, Swift for TensorFlow as well. Now, the last thing here, I'm going to hijack this meetup and tell you about another meetup. So, Patrick and Hong here. We're starting up a Melbourne TensorFlow meetup because I want to talk about these things in more detail, and so do these guys as well. And if there's anyone else interested in talking about these things in more detail, we want to kick off on June 25th in Melbourne. We're going to talk about introduction to TensorFlow things for new users, because it can be hard to get into, but also be able to dive into these things as well. All right, enough hijacking, sorry. I'll mention it again at the end. Right, so some of the other interesting AI machine learning things around deep learning, these were two of my favourites. There's a really good blog post written by Luke Simpson. There he is up there. So Luke's written a really convenient blog post for me. He wrote a blog post about AI machine learning and augmented reality at I/O 2018. This is what mine talks about. So thank you, Luke. I've just copied your blog post. Let me explain what's going on with a couple of these things. So first one I want to mention is Magenta. You should look that up. That's Google's effort to really explore art and music with artificial intelligence. There's been a lot of that at the moment. There's been a lot of the past, style transfer, but this is a real new level. How do we make music with AI? How can we make art with AI? This Faces one here is about latent space machine learning. So this, if you saw that in the talk, is where they've got a user to draw 4 faces, and they've allowed a neural network to basically dream up what's in the middle. It's actually being able to transition from that to that, and right down to this as well. And all of these seem quite natural. They all seem like something that an actual human could have created, and it's actually dreamed that up. This same technique is something they've used in a music synthesizer called NSynth. Also pretty excited about that, because you can actually build that. That's open source. The PCB sketches are there, so you can go and get those PCBs printed. The build materials are there, so you can go and order all your resistors, solder to a board, and you can make a AI-based synthesizer, which is pretty exciting. And what that can do is you can set up, essentially, think of 4 instruments and actually move between them, and the AI can generate those sounds in between. It's really exciting. Let's go down here with Pong. So I was almost brave enough to run this as a demo live. You can download the source code for this. It's up on GitHub. This is why I really like this as well. This is called reinforcement learning. So this is basically having an AI learn how to play Pong and win without telling it the rules. All you tell it is when the ball goes past that paddle, it gets a kind of a thumbs up. Nothing happens, it gets a 0, and if the ball goes past it, it gets a -1. And just based on that information and the pixels that are in this image, it can actually learn the right way to play Pong and eventually win. It's very trippy. This is a great example, one of those things you kind of see Google out and go, no way. Like it's like duplex, right? There's no code for duplex. You can't git clone that, but you can git clone this and run this on your own machine now and see how that works. Right, AI. Now we're into AR, a different A. So, how am I going for time? No? Okay, cool. I've got some demos here, so this could take a little while. So, ARCore hasn't really been out long at all. There's a bunch of existing AR platforms out there already. One's called Euphoria that I've been using since 2012. I just looked it up, I've seen them before. But thankfully now Android have got their act together and actually kind of made it a pseudo standard. They've obviously been innovating in that area quite a lot with their Tango platform. But I guess we're all probably really disappointed early on because you have to buy a Tango device. Well, now the devices are powerful enough to actually do what Tango is doing on the device itself. So we have ARCore. Initially released to devices in December 17, not long ago. But now in it's Google I/O, we've got some improvements with ARCore 1.2. So there's 3 things I want to show you. Something called Augmented Images, something called Cloud Anchor, and Scene Form, which was mentioned earlier before. So, demo. Okay. Let's do it. So these augmented images allow you to actually kind of set up a... Hello? Where is it? Let me go back. Allows you to actually set up a kind of a reference image for your AR to recognize, to work on. And when it sees that, it can actually project like a 3D image. Now this is a technology that's kind of been out for a long time. But it's kind of something that I think is useful for us to have on the platform. So originally, just see if I can bring up. Okay. So let me bring up this first. So this is an app from Euphoria, and this is a demo that I tried in 2012. This is 6 years ago. So this is recognizing just a bunch of stones on the screen, and when it sees that, it puts a 3D object on and allows you to kind of move around. So I can move my phone around, and I can move that screen around as well. So it's actually visually pretty pleasing. What we got with images there. What we got in ARCore is something similar. It's actually probably a little bit more modern and powerful. It allows me to, if I can get over there, I'm probably going to be too tethered here. No. Maybe I can do it on my screen. Never mind. Imagine there's the same sort of thing that I demoed there before, but a 3D object will appear there as well. So you can register those images on the device. You can register up to 1,000 of them. And that kind of database of images that it recognizes exists on the phone and operates really, really quickly. So it doesn't have to kind of take an image, go back to the server and say, right, is that something I recognize? Oh, it is, right, I'm going to put a 3D model up. It actually recognizes it very, very quickly. And I just want to really quickly kind of explain how that works. So it uses this technique called fiducials. So this is actually something I'm working on at the moment in AR. So this is an image that I've got in an AR database I've got at the moment. And what it does is it translates that image into a bunch of features, like a unique feature. I kind of think of it as a QR code. Like that's a unique shape. No other image has really got that unique combination of all those features on there. And this is pretty similar to what Google are doing. I think they talk about having contrast images or something like that. And it's a similar feature. Very, very fast, really powerful. Put 3D objects on it and they become really, really interesting. Right. That's not one. It's about Cloud Anchor. So you might have seen this demo where they had two people trying to share the same augmented reality experience. What's been really frustrating with augmented reality is if you've ever seen anyone use it, they're kind of walking around like this with their phone, looking at something, and you're all looking at that going, there's nothing there, that's just a piece of carpet. What this is trying to do, what this is trying to do is allow you to share those augmented reality experiences. So you can have your phone and look at that same thing as I'm looking at, but you look at it from your angle. So these cloud anchors allow you to, one person to kind of host an object in augmented reality space and actually share that with other people. So I've been stupid enough tonight to try and demonstrate that. Let's do that. And I thought, wouldn't it be even more fun to try and do it cross-platform on an iOS and an Android device? We'll see about that. Right. This one. This. Yes. Right. Got two phones up on the screen. Now, this is connected using Firebase. So Firebase actually kind of is the intermediary between the two. What I do first is find a space to host it in. And I say, yep, put it there. So I've got an little Android guy here, as all demos are. If I put it there, there we go. Right, now see that number in the corner, number 6. So what I can do is enter that as a room number. So I can enter that virtual room. Resolving. I don't think I've found any space yet. There we go. We should hopefully get, once everything's working, is my 3D object in space. I didn't test it in this space tonight. I probably should have done that. I did it in the office earlier. I did it all day long and it was working perfectly, of course. Android guy, thank you. No, it's not. That's a shame. Ah! There you go. Android guy. Oh my god. Alright, good. Quick, let's get out of here. I've got one more demo. Magic tricks. Okay, so I think that's going to be really powerful. I've demoed too many augmented reality things and people look at me strangely. I want to share them with people. Both of those demos are achievable. Git clone, installed on both devices and run. Use it. That was a phone. Right, last one is SendForm. So, thank you very much. So, SendForm is great. As was mentioned before, if you've done any augmented reality program, any OpenGL, it's awful. What this is meant to do is make it feel a bit more natural, a bit more easier for developers to use. The talk on SendForm was fantastic for a main guy. He's an amazing developer. He's also a photographer, so he's got a really clear understanding about vision and reflection and things like this. And I actually put this on in the background on 2 times speed initially, just let it play, and stopped about 10 minutes in because it was fascinating. So what he's done here is showed some really cool things about how they use physically based rendering. This is basically using physics to render things really, really accurately. Like, what does things do in the real world? So this is his bauble on his Christmas tree, and there's an effect where if you shine a coloured light this side, you won't see that colour on the front, you'll just see it on the edge. And what they've managed to produce, and it's going to come out here, is actually that same effect in the scene form as well. And these are effects you don't generally get. The other thing that it's got is some really neat ways to specify things like metallicity, the word, and roughness, and being able to set that between like a 0 and a 1, just like a slider, and just change how the object reflects light. This is a metal object here. This is not so metal, but you can change the roughness, and that affects how it actually reflects the light itself. There is Seaform has a plugin. It's pretty buggy. Is this going to work? No, it's not. It's frozen. Right. So this scene form plugin, still pretty much in beta, allows you to open some of these scene form objects. So this is Jupiter, and the scene form viewer allows you to kind of browse around, zoom in and out, and look at that object in real time. That's crashed quite a bit today, but at least I can bring it up like that. All right. Lastly, I want to be able to. Don't worry, you'll be right. I'll bring it back. I want to be able to demo the last bit of augmented reality in live because it's more fun. Okay, ready? Oh, great. We might see an ad soon. I can't wait. All right. So the last. Right, last thing I want to demo is actually that solar system thing, because that's quite remarkable as well. That's again one of those things that you see during the keynote, and then when they actually, you think, oh great, it's hard to be able to do that. Well, git clone, and this is yours. So this is the solar system here. I'll just go to the landscape because that's the landscape. Jupiter's coming around, it's not broken yet. This is quite remarkable to see people in the shot and then these things running in real time. And the shadows as well. And then being able to control them as well. Let me just change the, let's crank up the universe a bit. Hang on tight. Yeah, so this is using SynthForm and ARCore, which is quite remarkable. Right, where am I at? Cool. So, don't forget the TensorFlow meetup. June 25th. Sorry to hijack it. That's all I'm covering. If there's any questions, I don't know if we've got time, come see me afterwards and we'll chat later.